Every morning when I wake up, I look at Monchique and I think to myself, oh my gosh, I get to wake up in this fairy tale again, and as long as I can work in this symbiotic relationship with plants and trees and nature, I think that I don't want to be anywhere else. I really, really hope that the language that I speak is translated in my food. So when people pick food up and they taste it and they say like, wow, what is this, that something inside them remembers that this is how it should be. We shouldn't be cutting packets open, we should have a connection and with our food. We really should. I always have this calling that I thought, I just want to live in a country where I'm outside, where I can always be outside and in touch with the nature. So that was always my calling. And then when my husband got sick, that was a clear message that we had to move. We had to go back to basics. We had to go back to what I really knew. I trained as a chef, so I had the knowledge of a chef and I had the knowledge of my childhood, and I just combinate these two together, and that's how we've been using food as medicine for the last 20 years. I'd like people to know that how you feel now, that's not it. It's truly like when you're going to a birthday party and you cannot wait for the day to start because there's so many little gifts out there for you to discover. I think if we stay close to nature, if we really stay so close to nature, you can have all these gifts. You can. It's all yours. And I hope people remember that health and well-being, that's a gift of life. That comes with life. That should be how it all is. It shouldn't be that you should be suffering and constantly going to the doctor. All of those things you don't have to do because nature's got your back. It's got it all worked out. Yeah, you actually ask yourself, am I lonely? Or do I enjoy being alone? There is definitely a difference, to being like feeling lonely. But even that was uncomfortable, that feeling of like, I really enjoy being alone. there was a kind of uncomfortableness in that. I think the biggest thing is I've totally rediscovered myself completely. And yeah, I'm comfortable with that. Yeah, this is now, and I'm enjoying it so much, really. And the animals as well. For me, that again is, I truly believe that they see things and feel things that I could never ever see and feel, and that also adds to my life as well, But there's one thing about animals that really that I had to think about the other day, because before chickens they could fly, now they've forgotten how to fly, And with the dogs, even though I take these dogs from an animal compound, there's an element of wildness about them that you cannot take away, you can't take that out of those animals. So you can domesticate and you can get them to sit and give a paw and all these sorts of things, but any given chance, those dogs will run in a pack for 5 days and forget about food, water. Then they're real dogs, they're instinctively just out there. That part of that instinctive thing of being a dog, there's no way that whatever I do, I can take that out of a dog. And I think that you've got that with some humans as well, that there's certain parts of like this wildness of being in the forest and feeling so comfortable in the trees and the nature, that's that kind of coyote or the dog that, has to remain like a wild dog to survive. That's what I think that you remember once you start being quiet and being silent. You remember it, but you will never find it in a city. You won't, because there's too much stimuli there that's going off. And maybe that's what someone wants, that's what how it wants to be. when it got to COVID, you could see that the moment that you took everything away from everyone just got nervous. For me, it was probably one of the best times ever, really. It brought so much connection, even with the family and with the people in the community and things like that. There was so much connection. And that's also a really big thing for me, that this is all connecting. Even when you look at the mushrooms, when I'm looking for different plants and things, everything is connecting with something else in order to live. People often ask me about the mushrooms, they say, how can you identify these mushrooms so you know where they are? I just make a mental picture of where they are the year before and see which tree that they're making a symbiotic relationship with, because that's what we're doing, yeah? And that's how I find everything. I just look for the connection with everything, and then it brings me back to that mushroom again. When I'm looking for different plants and things, everything is connecting with something else in order to live. And another thing is bacteria, If you knew how much this microbiome is like a part of you, and we don't realize that when we're spraying and doing all those harmful things and putting pesticides down and everything, you're just killing a part of you. You really are. And nature's so smart that she puts everything there, like your emotions and, the circadian rhythm where everybody falls asleep, and everything is connected to your microbiome. So this is part of you. Seriously, this is the part of you that you're really killing. And that's why when I'm here, I feel connected. And I feel that everything has a connection. So spring is the time to start gathering and collecting, and it's the beginning, isn't it? It's the birth, and everything's just flourishing so well. And if I can take all these things that are offered to me, I can live an absolutely amazing life the whole of the year, I can add things to my recipes. Like if I'm making bread, there's always mushrooms in there. That's what spring really offers to me, that it's life, it's the beginning. It gives me these opportunities that I just have to concentrate and focus on what's available, because if you leave it until May or June, everything is gone. So it looks completely different than it is now. When the first mushrooms come up, I can hardly sleep the night before if it's raining. If it's raining, I know the next day there's going to be such a variety of mushrooms. It's crazy. Then I'm already looking for the next one that's going to come up. And you don't know where they are. It's almost like you're looking for that present at the party, and you're hoping that, you get that Easter egg that they've hidden under some tree. And that's spring for me, You never know what's going to come up. And even sometimes you'll have flowers. Maybe last year you had St. John's wort. Maybe this year nature's saying, you don't even need it, let me send another flower or something like that. After the fire, 2018, this mountain was covered in St. John's wort, covered. Why? Because it's a calming flower, it brings calm. How many people were in that anxiety? It was horrible here, horrible. And St. John's wort was here to help us, to protect us and to keep us calm and safe. And so that is another reflection from spring. You never know what she's got planned for you, absolutely nothing. So even when I'm making all these cosmetics and drinks and stuff, it's seriously all about what's available, because I don't know what's available until it comes. I really don't. For me, it's exciting because I think to myself, oh, wow, I've got something new material to work with now. Yeah, this feels like a second language. Even with the plants, when I'm walking among them and stuff like that, I can't really say that it feels like that the plants are saying words to me, but it's like almost that I'm on another kind of level where I can feel the plants. I don't even know if that makes sense. But I have such a connection with this that sometimes I have to be deep in there. I have to be with the plants. And even sometimes if I look at something, sometimes I think to myself, nah, that's not good. And some things I can think to myself like, I'm curious, I need to know. And then I'll start doing all my research to be able to think, what is this? You know, what was it used for before? With all that information, I can start working with it. Maybe sometimes it feels like, you know, when you've got a potter and they've got that clay on that pot and they don't know what it's going to be, but they start with it and they start working it and stuff like that. That's what I have with plants. Like sometimes I'll turn it into this or to that, and then later on I'll think to myself, oh yeah, but I could have done that with it. And that's how I mold everything together. Yeah, the plants, they're speaking to me as well. But it's not like it's words, you know. It feels as if I'm on a different level, connecting with these plants. Not talking, but connecting with these plants. And with nature, and with birds, and with my dogs. Everything, everything.
Why is that feeling important, that kind of intuitive sense?
Oh my gosh, nothing else would ever matter. Why is it important? Because it's everything. It's everything. I cannot imagine if, you know, if I couldn't sit and look at the stars and the moon, and, you know, the first thing I do is I race at 6:45 so I can watch the sun come up. It's important because, like, I no longer need an alarm. I need to kind of pulsate or vibrate with the earth, you know. I never wear shoes, you know. I'm always connected to the earth, and all these things, oh my God, it just wouldn't be real, you know. And to a point where I think to myself, I don't even think I could exist if I wasn't in this. Does that sound weird? I could not exist if I couldn't wake up and be in this. I don't think I'd be me. If no one ever paid me for another workshop again, what would I be doing? This. I'd just be doing this.